Okay, today's session is going to be about listings, the problems with listings, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the reasons why some members are not making connections despite their listings. They're making connections sometimes despite their listings is more like it, and we'll kind of get right into it. When you get to ICIWorld.net, all members should click on Login Member Management. All assistance, training, and help is done through the way of webinars. You can click there on it, daily webinar workshops there, and if you go down the page just a tiny bit, you'll always find it under number 4. You simply click on daily webinar workshops. You click on this, schedule, register, and follow instructions, and just pick a time that you're available to come in and get a little bit of assistance. Just click on one of these dates and register yourself and get into the meeting. And then basically, depending on the topic of the meeting, these daily webinar workshops work on your topic. You bring it up to the meeting, whatever it is that you need help on, and we'll give you a hand. And always remember that our pledge and how you can measure whether things are working for you, if you're doing a deal every 90 days or at the very minimum making good connections every 90 days, then you're on the right track. If you're not making connections, then you definitely got to get back to us and get into one of these meetings. And if you're ever stuck on anything longer than 5 or 8 minutes, give us a call. Now, when you click on Login Member Management, there's 2 ways that you can get assistance for putting in listings. The first way, in the welcome instruction pages, assuming that everyone should have read this, but nevertheless, you should go here and you're going to see entering, have, and want information on ICI World. And it's to get your listings to be relevant to the business area and category. And I'm going to show you where some people are missing doing deals because they're not filling in either the keywords in their subject lines or they're missing the proper business category and areas. But it explains all here. If you just kind of read through it once, it's self-explanatory how to put things on our service. However, if you don't read it and just jump at it, you'll sort of miss things. We also suggest you print out a have and a want sheet and have those handy, have 10 of them handy at any one time. Biggest responsibility is to recognize important information that makes you money and then to mark it down onto a have or a want sheet, and then you've done the most important thing, capture the information. You can then delegate it to yourself to put on the service or delegate it to someone else. When entering information, you'll simply click on Add Have Wants on the left-hand side, and we're going to log in. And when you log in, up comes the form to log in. The subject line covers the 4 ingredients in the subject line. You'll see the location should be the type, the price, and the sizzle should be put in every subject line right in here. And we're still getting some people that are missing that a little bit, but so hopefully this will help. The other thing is there's for more help, you kind of click here, and again, that explains all the things you can do to put in a proper listing. And what we're going to do at this time is go through some of the problems that I see some of the members are kind of having. And in order to search by message number, I'm just going to go up here, actually, and I'm going to search advanced, and I'm going to type in the word Kitchener wrong. And some people have typed it in, Kitchener. And this goes for almost any city in the world. If you happen to spell it wrong, you're going to see some people that have spelled it wrong, Kitchener. There's actually an E in there. Now, what is the significance of this? Well, if somebody has, let's say, an active listing, like this particular liquor store, for instance, is available in Kitchener, you're missing opportunities to do deals. I'll show you the reason why. Let's open up another brand new window. And let's go to the Canadian website. And you can do that through Google, or you can do that through just going directly to the Canadian website, ICIWorld.ca. And if this is where the majority of the public come to see their information. There's about 50,000 people on a regular basis. And if you click on keyword searching over here, that's one way to do it. But let's click on search by city. And if we go to search by city and you spell it wrong, that means that you're not coming up in this particular list of properties in Kitchener because it's spelled wrong. Let's go back to the spelling, and you'll see that it's spelled wrong, Kitchener. That goes through a lot of things in the business that have keywords that you want to make sure that you have your keywords in your subject line spelled correctly. Okay, so that's one example. let's move on to something else. I'm going to go to Search Database 1 Free, and I'm going to click on Search by Message Number on the left. And I'm going to put in this message number, 238-068. Those are examples of listings that have a problem. And you'll see that all it says is building for lease. Now, if you notice, when you put in a listing on ICI World, and we're going to just do that very quickly, get back to ICIWorld.net, log in member management, and then click on Add Have Want on the left-hand side. You're going to notice we have a whole subject line help here right all along the top. Please remember the subject line help. Look, make sure you include a location, not the exact address, a general location, city, because this is a world service where there's 2 billion people out here on the internet. And you need to put some kind of a location, the type of property, the price and or the size, and some sizzle. Why should anybody buy it? In the case of a buyer, what is so good about your buyer? For wants, you must type the word wanted at the beginning of the subject line. And there is a maximum of 160 characters in this subject line box here. So in the case of this listing that you see on the screen, totally missing all 4 categories. Now when we click on the listing, in addition to that, the business area is not even chosen. Stony Creek happens to be in the Niagara region, and Niagara region is not even chosen here. So there's a number of things that you can be doing. For instance, the business area, when you choose Ontario, when you choose Canada and then Ontario, you're going to notice that there's a 3rd category here that you can be choosing any one of these. And if you go down further, you'll see them down here. When you put in a want, you can select multiple categories. When you put in a want, you might want property in all these areas or not areas, and you can pick and choose them all along the way by simply holding the control button down. And it explains here. You may select multiple areas by holding the control key down. It explains that. And so those are absolutely essential. In this particular case, this person is missing the choosing the Niagara region. Where does that come into play? Again, let me just open up another window again and go to the Canadian website. And this works for every place in the world, people. United States, Europe, it goes for all over the world. It works all over the world. And the same way. Click on Ontario. And then if we click on, let's say, just went down the page just a tiny bit, you'll see that you can search by city, search haves and wants by region. If we search by region, the listing for Southwestern Ontario, the Niagara region for that listing, when you click on this, these are all the Niagara region listings. They're simply not coming up, that one particular listing, because you did not choose the Niagara region. And you'll see all the, now these ones here in Toronto are being spammed into the Niagara region. We're suggesting that that not be the case. In other words, this coffee shop, actually that's not in Niagara region. Why is that coming up in the Niagara region? Oh, I know what happened. Sorry people. Thought it was the Niagara region. This is the Niagara region down here. I clicked the one above, which was the Greater Toronto Area. And that shows you that anyone can make mistakes here, including myself. And if we continue on, you'll see all of the properties come up. Now, this is not allowed. Having an address in a subject line is not allowed. We'll just send them another email and a message to that is not permitted. If it becomes a redundant thing, then we actually can stop a person's membership here for not complying with what we require to be done in the subject line. Subject lines are made available on other brokers' websites. We have another 1,000 brokers that are advertising your listings on their websites, and it defeats the purpose if the address shows. We're all about helping you try to trigger leads from the internet. Okay, let's move on. Also in this listing, there's no link down here in the internet links box. There's nothing put in here to help sell the location of the property. And in this case, this building is for lease, but they've chosen the business category, commercial buildings, hotels, and motels, which is for sale, and business opportunities. There's not even a business for sale. It's really a building for lease. It should be retail for lease is what the category should be chosen. Okay, let's move on to another one. Okay, let's put in, oopsie days, I'm going to search by message number here, and we'll go and choose another listing. I'm just going to go through a few listings here showing the ins and the outs, why some people are doing deals and why others are not. Again, this address is showing and it should not be showing. Not allowed in the subject line, and we have to come down maybe a little bit more on each of these things. So this is under sites commercial and industrial. That's done correctly. He's also got Greater Vancouver. That's done very good. But what he's missing in this one is linking to the economic development website of the city of Abbotsford to help sell Abbotsford to the world. That's missing in this listing. Okay, let's move down to another listing and see if we can comment on some more, just to give you a flavor of what should be done and not done in these listings. Let's go down to search database, wanted gas stations, ideal sites anywhere in Ontario. So we don't have a price or a size range, and there's no real sizzle in this, but nevertheless it's missing some things, but it says anywhere in Ontario. Now if that's the case, when we click on that number, not only should you be selecting Canada and Ontario, but you must select all of the subcategories that are in Ontario, because our system sends out an email to all of the various categories. If someone only searches the Ontario button, they can actually miss, believe it or not, some of these other ones. But what happens is people searching the GTA will miss seeing this want. How do you miss it? Again, if I go back to, let me see if I can jump back to the GTA, for instance, in this area, and I'll show you where I made a mistake here. There we go. It was Toronto. There's the Toronto listings there. And there's the GTA there. So there's the listings in the GTA. If I was to click on that, it actually is not appearing. That want for the GTA is not appearing in the GTA because you did not select, let's go back, did not select the GTA underneath Canada and Ontario. Again, if we simply go to the listing, when you enter a listing, if I could show that to you, login member management, and then click on add have want on the left-hand side, you'll see that there's other business categories after Canada, and this goes for all areas in the world. You could be selecting GTA, and if you're looking also in the Niagara region, Eastern Ontario from Oshawa, Eastern from Oshawa, basically right to Ottawa and right to the border of Quebec, Northern Ontario, which basically starts in Barrie and goes north up to Sudbury, and then far Northern Ontario is basically from Sudbury right up to the Lakehead. Southwestern Ontario basically starts from Hamilton and goes right to Windsor, Southwestern Ontario. But if you want them all, you should be selecting them all. It says right here you may select multiple areas holding down the key, and then you should only select the areas that apply. Okay, let's go back here and let's choose another one here. One of the things, let's just see here, 238122. Let's go to another message number that demonstrates something nicely. 238122. And search that. And you'll see a property in Lindsay, which is good. Prime development location, that's fine. Waterfront development, $1 million. That's fine. Missing some sizzle. But nevertheless, let's go into it. Now, Eastern Ontario is chosen. Canada is chosen. Everything here is actually looking pretty good. I'm going to click on the link that we're recommending that everyone put in their listings to help sell Lindsay to the world. And when you click on it, you get to the main Lindsay website. And this is fine. However, there's an even better page. And to get you all even a little sharper, I'm going to suggest you click on something like economic development within the website, and you actually can choose, let's say, this community profile. So when you choose the community profile page, up comes, we're open for business, low taxes, labor rates, land costs. It just starts to encourage you to come right into this town. So the top 10 reasons of why to locate usually is a page within the website. And if you notice, if I hold my mouse over top community profile at the bottom left corner of the screen, you will see an HTTP address, city.kawarthalakes.ca, ending in community-profile. Well, if you right-click on this button, you can copy this shortcut. That's the link that you put into ICI World. And that all started right from the listing here. I'll show it to you. right from this listing here. And you can, again, you can just modify your listing to kind of do that. Another little thing that's happening on our service, so let's go into it. I'm going to choose to look at halves. So I'm going to type wanted in the subject line. And the only reason I'm showing you this is because people have not chosen the wants properly. In other words, these are all wants, but they're only in the have category. We've got 137 listings out of 28,000 that are in the wrong category. And if people wonder why they're not making connections to do business, this is one of the reasons. If you have a property, you're going to get buyers looking in the haves. Well, buyers don't want to see other buyers. They'll never get a call. I'd be surprised if they do get calls, and sometimes they do anyways because everybody's looking all over. But you can generate more leads if you put them in the proper category, and you simply do that by choosing the wants. If you have a want, you choose want. And that's being missed by a lot of brokers that are missing doing deals. They wonder why they're not doing deals. Everybody on this service makes connections to do business, or it's something that you are not doing. It's no longer anything on ours because there's 50,000 people a month. There's connections for everybody. There's 2 billion people on the internet. The same thing is actually true sometimes the other way around as well. In other words, I can put in a want, and you just got to be careful of your business categories. Let's do one other thing here. I'm going to do another search, and this is a minor thing, but nevertheless, it's still the case. If I'm going to search the word sold, that's the status, sold. That's good. You should also mark the word sold in the subject line, and these people have done it correctly. So you got sold here at the beginning of the subject, plus you've also got status sold. But you'll notice all of these ones here are not marked sold at the beginning of the subject line. This one is, these ones are not, and they should be. Okay, marking the word sold at the beginning of the subject line. Okay, active, yet sold in the subject. Okay, now the other thing sometimes we get is okay, we've shown that. Let's move on. Spamming business categories. Okay, one way I can find spammers, if I go to, let's say, search the exchange, this is a creature of the U.S., the 1031 exchange, but if I happen to search that and find properties in Canada here, oopsie daisy, I've also got marked sold down there, and I don't want sold, so I just want exchange properties coming up that are active right now, and I'm doing that here to demonstrate it to you. Let's go down just a touch further. And these ones are actually in Canada. So if I was to click on this first one, you'll see that this is an Ultramar gas station. It is not a shopping center. It is not an office building, and I don't see anything for lease. It's a property for sale. It is a business opportunity is what it is. These other business categories should not be filled in. Secondly, he's just got Ontario and missing sort of a general region where this property is. Let's go to maybe another one here. Let's go to maybe these wanteds. Now this person is looking for a commercial building, commercial property, and yet he's got office here, he's got industrial buildings, he's got for lease, he's got business opportunity. He's basically taken every single business category, including announcements which are not applicable, etc., timber and mineral property, farm and ranch land, and put a want for commercial properties in here. So I'm going to mention it and try to get Sonny to improve his listings and the way he puts them in, because this now becomes a hassle for the rest of the industry, becomes a hassle for other people on the service. It also starts to degrade the degree of information in each category when these things are all being spammed throughout the industry by just indiscriminately choosing all categories for one kind of listing means that people are having to search through these kind of things and they're not interested at all, and that degrades the service and makes it the listings don't come up quite as nice. Now it's not a big deal. Now here's a Subway restaurant. This is a business that's for sale, and in this case he's got business opportunities fine. But in this case, this is a 1031, which is used in the U.S. Now he's got here to lease industrial. What are you going to do? Lease out the store? But it's really a business for sale. It's not really a property for lease. I know the business is being leased, but that's not what that means to kind of do that right there. So we probably need some time there to kind of go through some of these things kind of with you to fix them up. Yonge Street location. Let's just kind of click on something like this. And again, this is a 3,300 square foot office space by Yonge Street at $9. So this is basically office for lease. Shopping centers are the ones for sale, for sale, for sale. This is really the one that it is. It's really to lease das office. That's it. It's not a business for sale. It's not a commercial site to be on. It's not a recreational property or a golf course. And it's not a related professional service like cars or telephones or headsets for sale. And it's also definitely not a 1031 because that's only a creature of the U.S. So this is being spammed on our service, and we have to kind of get that looked after. Any questions, always jump into a webinar and we'll kind of help out on that. The other thing is you shouldn't type in all capital letters. All capital letters is like screen glare. It's like someone yelling at you, and sometimes can be taken as begging and just trying to get extra attention. It's just not as professional as just typing in regular upper and lowercase letters, which the majority of all our members, I'm happy to report, are doing, and you'll see them doing it quite nicely there. Now, if we were to go to, let's just do another couple of quick problems. I've got about 4 more here to kind of get through to kind of demonstrate the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the do's and the don'ts kind of thing. 653, and let's just search this listing here. It's in Arizona, and when you have a property in Arizona, you don't start putting it in Canada and Western Canada and all over. Okay, so if you have a property and an opportunity there, that's where you do it, and you don't start spamming all the other categories that you see down here. So that's another sort of problem there. Here's another listing example of something else. Let's go choose this one here, 235 and 701. And by the way, people, we're here to help you. Not to hurt you, we're here to help you. Wanted environmentally any place in Ontario, they're looking for property. Well, when you click on it, this is the way to do it. Canada, Ontario, and then choosing the 4 categories, other areas in Ontario. In this particular one, it's questionable, mind you. Can it be possible that you're looking at all of these sites for environmental contaminated property? Well, definitely not the 1031 because that's basically only in the U.S., and chances are it's not going to happen for single-family homes. But, you know, contaminated property, I guess, could be found many places, but that's some of the things that you can watch out for there. The next one we're looking at is, let me see, 237945. Let's just put that in, 237945, and see what this listing brings up. And now he's got offices in a medical building. There's no location, so it's missing the 4 ingredients. There's no location. It's basically offices in a medical building. So it's an office for lease, it looks like. And if we go here, offices in a medical building, it is in Brampton. Brampton should be in the subject line. Here's the problem. This property is not being found. The reason why, again, if I was to go to, let's say we were to go to search, and if we were to search Canada for Brampton, just waiting for it to come up here. And then if we go to Ontario, and then if we simply search by city, properties come up. And then if we click on Brampton, that means the person that had this property for lease in Brampton is not coming up in this list for Brampton. These are all the Brampton properties. You've got to put the word Brampton in your subject line like these people have, and this is working out good in this case. But do not, in this other case, you did not put the word Brampton in the subject line, and sometimes you wonder why you're not doing deals, and that could be the reason why. Now, if this is property for lease, You do not choose office and medical buildings. These are the ones for sale. There's a lease category. There's a sale category. This is spamming some of the categories needlessly, and it really turns people off. Okay, let's, and announcements. This is not an announcement of a news type. This is not for haves and wants. Announcements are made for meetings that are being conducted on a regular basis. Okay, let's go to another message number here, and we're getting close to the end here. 237, is it 947? 947, let's try that. And again, physiotherapy, that's a spelling mistake, chiropractic with an R. Somebody searches that, and they cannot find you because these are spelled wrong. That is a material defect in a listing. Let's do another one here. Material defects are the difference between doing deals and not doing deals, and we're here to kind of try to help you kind of do business. Wait a minute. I think this is a 47. Let's see if I get the right listing coming up. Oh, again, if I click on that listing, the business category is to lease office, really is what it is, and it doesn't even show up here properly. So it's not even a right category, business category as well. Let's go back here, and some people wondering why they're not getting calls. It's because you guys are not filling in the exact right categories. Okay, let's go again. Let's go. Somebody looking for commercial property in a small building plaza. And my God, what's happened here? They've got farm and ranch land chosen, timber and mineral property, and they got announcements in sight. This is absolutely not acceptable. And again, we've sent some emails out to Sonny, but we'll have to call him personally as well, and to make sure that he doesn't. There's only less than 5% of the people are accidentally doing these kinds of things, and we'll have to kind of help them bring their attention to that. Ultimately, we could stop a person's membership if they keep doing that, but we have not had to do that with anybody, fortunately. Okay, there's a house with several renovations complete. Renovations is spelled wrong, but that's minor. But now this particular house, first of all, we don't allow homes under $750,000 on ICI World. They are to all go onto your own website. However, if the house has a commercial zoning, land value, it can be a rooming house, an income proposition, whether it's a duplex, a triplex, or even single-family home that's going to be rented out. That can be classed as income, as an investment. We are an investment service as well, so anything investment is really commercial on our service. Anyways, there's no location in the subject line, no price, no sizzle. Well, a little bit of sizzle with the renovations complete, and you'll see that it's in a place called Hamilton, Ontario, which is in southwestern Ontario, which is not chosen. Again, missing opportunities to send out this listing to all the people interested in southwestern Ontario that receive emails. There's between 10 and 20,000 emails going out a day, and it's missing it. And then the next, it's not even the proper business category for investment as well. And then thirdly, personally, it's up to you if you want to put the address. That's okay in the body, but not in the subject line. That's your call. So the business category is not chosen, the business area is not even chosen properly, and the subject line is not filled out. I happen to know that this is just a person who's got a new administrative assistant coming online, and those are the things that we kind of have to help them with. Okay, so let's kind of move on here. We've got that all done. No business chosen there. 236. Here's another one here. Let's just go see what this listing is about. 236-868. And these are just good examples to help teach what to be careful of. Looking for ICI properties. Actually, I'm going to move on to another one here. 236. There it is. There. 236. 235. Sorry. Okay, let's just do this one here. Lindsay Landmark Building with residential retail space, 795. There's no sizzle, which should be some sizzle in here to get us to come here. And it looks like the Eastern Ontario is not chosen, which is where Lindsay is. Again, missing another business area in that third box there where it should be. And this is a commercial building. It's not a shopping center. This is not a shopping center or a strip plaza. This is a commercial building with residential up above, and it's also not an announcement. That's only for meetings that are coming up. And I doubt that this is a net leased investment. Somebody's got to manage it. If you have a restaurant pad on a single site, that's a net leased investment. The owner doesn't have to worry about anything. But in this case here, if you have the property, you have to look after taxes and all kinds of things. In here, you've got sites and commercial and industrial. That's commercial buildings really is the only one that should be chosen in this particular case. Okay, and we're just about finished here. We've got just one last one here to come up, and we'll just do this one here. 234088. Let's see what comes up here. There's no, let me see, a commercial, minimum 2 acres of land with M2 zoning is usually industrial, and yet they've got commercial, but that's cool. Let's move on here. You'll notice that it cites commercial and industrial, and when you go to the business category, there's no sites commercial and industrial. In fact, it's an announcement, which is not haves and wants. It's only for announcements of meetings, those kinds of things. That's what that's intended for. Should have chosen sites, commercial, and industrial, and then you have a chance for this property to get found. Other ways to be found, which is good, you've got the word outside storage, so that's kind of good. That can be even searched by keyword on our service as well. Okay, so in finishing, if I was to go back to login member management, and if you click on add have want, first of all, by the way, under the welcome instruction page, there's instructions for adding listings, which you can kind of go into, entering have and want information on ICI World, and also when you're adding a listing, you'll see that there's a little information to kind of help you adding listings. For more help, click here, adding listings. It's all about helping trigger leads for each and every one of you by making sure all your keywords are in your subject line. Things can be found. Do some searches after you've put everything in, and give us a call if you're not making connections to do deals, and get yourself into one of these daily webinar workshops. They're right here. And that's it for this particular session on listings and upgrading your listings. The seminar is now over, and I'm going to end it and actually